Sengoku Basara, where being a retainer is a job worse than all my past ones put together. Hello, this is the Comedic Sociopath, and this is my first review, which, if you haven't guessed by the sight of Capcom's homoerotic award-winning couple, Date Masamune and Sanada Yukimura, Sengoku Basara 3 Utage. To start off, this is the updated re-release of Sengoku Basara 3, or if you live in a place that's not Japan, Sengoku Basara Samurai Heroes, which came out on the PlayStation 3 and the Nintendo Wii. First and foremost, because Capcom is filled to the brim with morons who can't market to save their collective lives, this is a game we didn't get, nor are we likely to get Sengoku Basara 4, which means if you're a fan of the series, get ready to shell out some extra cash for that import. Now that I got that out the way, let's actually talk about the game. Utage, as I'm going to be calling it now, is Sengoku Basara 3 but better, which is surprising considering Capcom's track record, but I digress. Utage takes what made Sengoku Basara 3 fun and ran with it. It's a simple game in which you really don't need to understand or read the language to have fun. While I would like to know the nitty gritty behind the story modes and whatnot, it isn't too difficult to gather what's going on. Will knowing the language make it life easier? I'm sure it will. Did it stop me and some of my friends from playing the life out of the game when life took a collective dump in our happy bowl of Cheerios called life? Of course not. To begin, this game has numerous modes which basically amounts to the same thing. Go from point A to point B while slicing, stabbing, punching, shooting, and whatever the hell Motor Chica does with his anchor on the stick, and to kill everyone in your way. First mode is the story mode for the new leading cast of Utage, which means the stories from part 3 aren't available, unfortunately. On the plus side, we have story modes of new characters such as Masanaga Hisahide, Sora Notomo, and Tachibana Muneshige, along with the story modes of returning characters such as Sarutobi Sasuke, who has the unfortunate honor of being Yukimura's retainer, Katakura Kojiro, who's performing quite the pitiful walk of shame home, Kobayakawa Hideaki being plain old-fashioned pathetic as he gets used for entertainment by everyone, including his retainers, and Akichi Mitsuhide, who has the worst disguise ever, also known as Tenkai. In the new story modes, there are some cutscenes and intros that play, but without understanding the language, it is hard to get a true grasp of what's going on. But some clues can be gathered from watching the cutscenes, or if worse comes to worse, the internet is a great place to gather information. Masamune's forces had suffered a rather painful defeat at Mitsunari's hands, and Kojiro's retreating with what's left of their army back to what I presume to be Oshu. Sasuke is running around gathering information and potential allies while dealing with Yukimura, so he isn't exactly having a good day. Matsunaga is going around ruining the lives of everyone by collecting something of value from them, and in the case of Mitsunari and Ieyasu, he decides to collect Mitsunari's reason for living by immolating Ieyasu right before his eyes. Some of the story modes range to prequels to stories in part 3, some seem to be in between, and some just don't seem important enough to bat an eyelash at. I'm looking at you, Sora Notomo. Beating the character's story modes unlock more characters, and to be honest, I'm impressed Capcom managed to create a sizable yet unique cast. Yes, I can't say nice things about Capcom. Everyone from part 3 is back for another run, and everyone has been improved in some shape or form. Each character falls into one of the 6 respective elemental categories, and while some are more broken than others, darkness, they are all there to even the odds. Fire burns, which does damage over time, lightning stun locks for more beatings, wind sends people twirling in their place, ice freezes them in their spot, light breaks guards, and darkness has a chance to insta-kill common soldiers and absorb their souls to replenish health, because that's totally fair. For those who play Sengoku Basara 3 or Sengoku Basara Samurai Heroes, what I'm saying is pretty standard fanfare, so let's talk about the different stuff. For one, all characters, not just certain characters, all can hold their basic attack button for new attacks, such as Mitsunari with the quick draw dash attack, which if the attack button is held, he'll teleport to the nearest person to continue beating him up. Sasuke will add shadow clones to his combos, and Matsunaga will bathe his enemies in explosive powder when the attack button is held after each attack, and if the attack button is still held, he will ignite the powder causing them to blow up. Second, and definitely much more exciting, is the weapon and character stat mechanic change. Remember in part 3 we had to kill those fugitives if you wanted to max out your character's base stats? Well, someone at Capcom realized that was a bad idea and made it so that you can buy upgrades during the selection screen. Are they expensive? Oh yes they are, but it's so much simpler than searching for the fugitives, and you're likely to have multiple, if not the entire cast, with their base stats maxed out shopping wise. It gets better. Character weapons have their own individual stats, and by completing certain milestones like reach a certain combo number, break a certain amount of armor, kill enough unfortunate souls to make a bridge to the other side of the world, and your weapon levels up, which adds onto your character's already impressive stats. Each weapon has a max level, max base attack, and a maximum of 6 slots. Weapons 1 and 3 are elementless, weapons 2 and 3 are their elemental based weapons, weapon 5 is normally their strongest but it's a joke weapon unfortunately, and the last 2 weapons are weapons that give more gold or get stronger when 2 characters are equipped with the same weapon type. With the 6 slot weapon you can make a character you once thought was utter crap into a moot killing machine that will make Nobunaga himself proud. Speaking of equipment and slots, someone at Capcom had another great idea. Wow, I'm just full of praise for Capcom today, aren't I? Remember in part 3 characters had unique items that required 4 slots or some boost or effect? Well, someone at Capcom said screw that noise, let's make it a one-slot item and really let them have fun. Between the vast array of stat boosting items, the personal items only requiring one slot, and enemies existing for the sole purpose of dying, the catharsis factor is extremely high, which might leave you giggling as you stylishly mow down foe after foe. Another neat feature in the Utage game is the partner system. Before, you can have characters assist you with not only a stat boost upon a Basara attack, but a random effect to their name. My personal favorite tag team is Nobunaga and Tenkai, which, considering Tenkai's ability is to cause dizziness to those he glares at, leaves them wide open to whatever unnatural horror Nobunaga is about to unleash. In Utage, you have the option to switch to tag mode, allowing you to switch or tag out to a second playable character in the midst of combat. It is relatively seamless, allowing you to switch in the middle of a combo, be it in the air or on the ground, and each character has a separate Basara gauge, so when you empty one, switch to your other character and use it. Items that replenish health and Basara collected in tag mode are applied to the character that needs it. So if you fill up one health bar and your tag character's damaged, they get healed instead. I'll be the first to admit, graphics aren't exactly on the top of my list of what I love most in a video game, but Utage is a decent game to look at. Levels have some variety to them, though complaining about linearity in a hack and slash seems a bit redundant. The animation for this game is somewhat typical for a game of this genre. Each character has unique stances, attack animations, and taunts, though it would be nice if they had more than one facial expression during gameplay, even as you're cutting them down. Thankfully, during cutscenes, characters do have more than one facial expression. If there is one thing I do love about this game that isn't strictly rooted in gameplay, it's the music. I believe the music is phenomenal, with my three favorite tracks being the Summer Campaign of Osaka, the track that plays during the Oshu vs Kai level, and the theme of Sarutobi Sasuke. Everyone has their own unique theme song which fits their character amazingly, though Misunari's sounds like a hot mess. An awesome hot mess, but a mess nonetheless. Kotaro's awesome theme of awesomeness, and Tenkai's theme just screams stranger danger. There are numerous game modes such as the previously mentioned story mode, unification mode where you, as you may have guessed, beat the unholy stuffing out of everyone in your way as you plan to unify Japan, mission mode where you kill certain characters under different conditions, versus mode where you and a friend can beat the tar out of one another or take your frustrations out on the CPU, and you can't compete in the 30-man or 60-man versus, which is the best way to level up characters without going completely insane. Too late for me. Then there is free mode where you go around beating the tar out of anyone and everyone you want in any level you manage to unlock. Unification mode has a couple of new mechanics. One, the new levels from story mode might show up once you complete certain conditions, allowing you to increase your kill count. Next is the Basara lottery, in which upon capturing a base, you either get a lottery ticket, which can be used to gamble for discounts, items or treats in the store, stat boosting items, or death from above via bombs falling from the sky. This is a pretty jacked up lottery system now that I stop to think about it. The second half of the unification mode is where you gamble on a character surviving to the end of the unification run. To be frank, I just picked Nobunaga who could go anywhere he wants and just murder whoever the guy I betted on is supposed to fight before murdering the guy I originally betted on. Why does gambling and death go hand to hand in this game? Free mode has the new levels added and the sheer amount of characters and playstyle make for an awesome experience. Yes, I know I sound like I'm gushing, but Utage does a lot of things right. With the Ieyasu punching people in the name of unity, Misunari flash stepping in ways that make Virgil Devil May Cry proud, to the finally playable Matsunaga who makes walking through tornadoes of fire awesome, to oh dear god no why, Nobunaga Oda. There's a lot of fun to be had here. And now for something to whine about. While there are some small, and I do mean small grievances here and there, like returning characters Uesugi Kenshin and Takeda Shingen not having second costumes, only one special and one weapon art used for all the weapons, and maybe, just maybe because I'm so used to Code Wars giving us thousands of enemies to kill, it is kind of barren with the lack of enemies on screen. While playable character encounters are definitely more entertaining than, say, Dynasty Warrior character battles, Dynasty Warriors definitely has a higher enemy count, and while more isn't necessarily better, it would be nice to have a bit more enemies on screen to kill without parking yourself in front of a base just waiting for things to spawn. Next on my list of issues is the AI jumps from inbred morons to violent rampaging ticks. Why do I describe them as ticks? Well, they are more aggressive, but they still die faster than you do, except on Basara difficulty, but Basara difficulty is a whole different can of worms altogether. Battling playable characters exhibits the same AI behavior as the suicidal common soldiers. On lower difficulty, the AI will just run to your weapon with their face, while on higher difficulties they will block, counter, and make your life difficult with their Basara spam, especially when 4 to 5 hits will fill up their gauge. It might sound like I'm complaining, but in reality I'm not all that angry with this. Playing on higher difficulties make you rethink your battle plan, teaches you how to be patient with your approach, and it sure as hell makes learning how to counter a lot more effective than normal and lower. What more can be said about Utage? For a hack and slash beat 'em up, it does a lot of things right. Characters are unique, items and weapons are customizable to fit your playstyle, and the 2-player mode is a blast, which can lead to some pretty awesome moments. Story mode, unification mode, and I hesitate to call it as such, but many games involving mass murder will keep those who are into this genre occupied for quite some time. Overall, Utage is great, you don't have to understand the language to get a kick out of it. Sure, you might miss the homoerotic subtext, but if you're into that kind of stuff, that's what the internet is for. Or better yet, watch the anime. Or not, it's your call, really. You know, Capcom, most of your past decisions already anger me, but it's good to see someone there has a functioning brain. I enjoy the series for what it offers, good wholesome fun with a combination of stylish and mindless button mashing as the icing on the cake for everyone to enjoy. While I do love the Koei Warrior series, Sengoku Basara keeps me coming back for more and more, and before I turn this into an obligatory that's what she said joke, I will end this little number with a rating of loved it. This is the Comedic Sociopath, bowing out.